Friends, once again, and we will start the new topic, and the new topic is, as you all know, that is electric field. Electric field is today's topic which we are going to start. So if we talk about the electric field, then the simple basic concept regarding the electric field is that, as we already know, that if we have two charges, suppose this is the first charge, that is capital Q, and this is the another charge, and that is Q naught. Basically, Q naught is called the test charge, and in general its magnitude is 1 and taken as positive. But in this case we have two charges, Q and Q naught, and simply we know that if two charges are there at any certain distance, let's suppose x, with each other, then they will apply an electric force to each other. It means the charge Q will apply a force on Q naught. At the same time, Q naught will apply a force on charge Q. But as I have already told you that Q naught is a test charge, it means it is very small. That's why its value, or we can say its magnitude, is taken as 1. So simply here I am considering that the Q charge is applying force on Q naught. Now question is how? Because it has at a separate distance x, it is a distance, fixed distance x between Q and Q naught. So how is it possible that this charge apply force on Q naught? The answer is so simple, as we can say that the charge Q has something which propagates and reaches to the Q naught. What is that thing? That thing is electric field. So we can say, as we talk about the positive charge, so we know that the positive charge radiates an electric field radially outward like this way. An electric field of positive charge radiates radially outward for the positive charge. So this electric field propagates and takes certain time to reaches to the charge Q naught. So let's suppose the time taken by this electric field to reach to the charge Q naught is small t. Small t is that time in which this electric field propagates and moves to the charge Q naught and then apply force. It means electric field is basically property of force. So we can say how this charge apply force on Q naught with the help of electric field. Electric field reaches to the charge and then apply the force. So because we are here, suppose that the distance between charge Q and Q naught is x, and the time of propagation between here to here is small t. So simply we can write, by considering the uniform motion of the electric field, we have speed equal distance upon time. Now as you can see in the diagram, distance is x, time is t. What about the speed? So the speed of electric field is the speed of light. So we can express it c equal x upon t, and the value of c, as you all know, c equal 3 into 10 to power 8 meter second inverse. So simply this electric field from charge Q propagates towards the Q naught, and the time taken to propagate from here to here can be calculated as T equal x upon c. Now, as we know, c is constant. Value is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second in vacuum. So, what about x? If we consider that x is less, or the charge Q naught is close to the charge Q, it means this electric field can easily, or we can say in less time, can reach to the charge Q naught. It means it will apply a greater force. But as the charge shifted away from the main charge Q, then the time duration increases. As a result, we can say the applying force also affected, field becomes weaker. Now, basically we can simply say that the electric field is what? Electric field is given by E vector equal F vector upon Q naught. So, the definition will be the force experienced by per unit test charge. The force experienced by per unit test charge is called the electric field of any charge. What is it indicates? It indicates that the electric field is independent of Q naught. How? So, if we find the force between these two charges, then the force will be F equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1 is Q, Q2 is Q naught, and the distance between them is x square. And as we put the value of F here, so we have E equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q, Q naught upon x square, and this one divided by Q naught. Now Q naught to Q naught cancelled out, and we have E equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon x square. This is the very interesting result. I have told you that whenever any test charge is there near the any main charge Q, then it will apply a force with the help of electric field. It means electric field is a region around the charge. When any test charge comes in that region, then it feels or experiences some force upon it. Now, if we say that the Q naught is apart from the region of the Q, or we can say the electric field of Q, then it will experience no electric force. So, we can simply say whether Q naught is there or not, but electric field exists. That's why I am saying that electric field is independent of test charge. As you can see here, as we put the value of force, then Q naught and Q naught cancels out to each other, and we get the formula. So, in the formula we have only charge Q. It means electric field is only due to the charge. It does not depend upon the test charge. So, this is the basic concept, and if we talk about its unit, then you can simply say its unit, the unit of force is Newton, the unit of charge is Coulomb. This is, so Newton per Coulomb is the SI unit of electric field. Now, we will focus on this expression. In this expression, E equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon x square, I have told you that E is the electric field, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is a constant, and its value is 9 into 10 power 9. Q is the charge, and x. What is x? X is the distance from the charge to the test charge. But I have already told you that it is not compulsory that test charge will be there. Then in place of test charge we consider any point P. It means x will be the distance from the main charge to the point P or any test charge. So if test charge is given, then we take the distance up to test charge. If test charge is not given, then we find the electric field at any point. So point is considered as test charge. So I hope this basic concept is clear to all of you. Now we will see some basic questions or basic numericals based on this concept. Let us start. First question is in front of you. Let's suppose we have any charge and the value of that charge is 2 coulomb, and we have to find the electric field at point P, which is nearly 2 meter apart from the main charge. So we have a charge, we have a point, and we have a distance. So simply we apply the formula of electric field, E equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon x square. So this will be 9 into 10 power 9, Q is 2, and x square, it means 2 square, it will be 4. So it can be written as 9 by 2 into 10 power 9 Newton Coulomb inverse. So this is the basic question. Now if we have more than one charge, so let's suppose we have two charges like this way. Suppose this is charge 2 coulomb, this is any charge 2 coulomb, this is point P at which we have to find the electric field. The distance between them, this is suppose 1 meter between these two charges, and let's suppose this is 3 meter distance between these two charges. So in this situation we have to follow the vector rule. Why vector rule? Because electric field is a property due to which any charge applies force. Force is a vector, it means electric field will also be vector. How we will solve this question? So firstly, as I have already told you that if we have one charge, then it have one electric field, or we can say one region around the charge. Now it has, in this diagram, it has two charges, 2 coulomb and 2 coulomb. It means it have a certain region or boundary of electric field. It also have a certain boundary of electric field. So we have to calculate the two electric field. So firstly, let's suppose this is the first charge and this is the second charge. So we have to find the electric field due to charge 1, that is E1, electric field due to charge 1. Applying formula this one, so 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q, Q is 2, and x square. So x is what? X is the distance from charge to point. So this is 3, this is 1, it means 4. So 4 of square, it is 16. So it will be 9 by 8 into 10 to power 9. Okay. So how we will find the E2? What is E2? E2 is the electric field due to charge 2. So once again 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, and what is Q? Q is again 2, but now the distance from charge and point, that is 3. So square of this, it is 9. So we have simply 2 into 10 to power 9. After finding the individual electric field, we have to apply the vector sum. How we will find the vector sum? Let's consider this is a positive charge, this is also a positive charge. Whenever there is a positive charge, then electric field radially outwards. So for this charge, the electric field for this point, it will be comes out out means like this way, 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 like this way. So for the point, the outward direction will be like this way. So the direction of electric field E1 will be this. You can see in the figure. Now if we talk about the charge 2C, this one, second charge, this is also a positive charge. So it have also electric field radially outward, like this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. So for the point P, the direction of electric field again towards the same line, or we can say this is the direction of electric field. Now both are in same direction, so according to vector rule, so we can write E equal E1 plus E2. How we get this result? We know the formula of resultant, R square equal A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, and here theta is 0 degree. So we can simply solve and we get the result E equal E1 plus E2. Now we put the value of E1 and E2. So what is E1 and E2? We can see here 10 to the power 9 is common. So net electric field will be 9 by 8 plus 2 times 10 to the power 9. So it can be written as 9 plus 16 divided by 8 times 10 to the power 9. So it will be 25 upon 8 into 10 to the power 9. This will be the final answer. Now what if one charge out of the two becomes negative? Let's see. We are supposing that the second charge is of negative sign. In the previous question, both charges are positive and the direction of electric field at point P both are radially outward. Now at this time, the electric field due to first charge at point P, there will be no change because the magnitude is 2 as earlier and the distance is 4 as earlier. Electric field due to second charge, this is also will be same because the magnitude is same, the point is at the same distance. So we have E1 and E2, there will be no change, but now the direction will be changed due to the negative sign. What will be the direction? As I have told you, if the charge is positive, so electric field will be radially outward. Now if the charge is negative, then the electric field radially inward. So firstly, the direction of electric field due to charge 1 radially outward, so it will be like this way, E1 cap. Now the electric field of negative charge, this will be radially inward, like this way, radially inward. From all directions it will be radially inward. So as you can see at point P, the direction will be like this way. So it will be the direction of E2 cap. Now the angle is 180 degree. So again apply the resultant formula and we get E equal E1 minus E2. E equal E1 minus E2. So why we write E1 minus E2, or we can write E2 minus E1. Which one out of the two we will consider? For this we have to once again think upon this formula. As according to this formula, the electric field is inversely proportional to the distance. It means if we talk about the point P, then point P is very far from the charge 1 and it is close to the charge 2. It means electric field of charge 2 will be greater and the electric field of charge 1 will be smaller. So we have to consider this expression, not this one. If we take this one, then we get a negative sign, and which will indicate that whatever the direction we are supposing, the actual is opposite of it. Now we will go further with this expression. So we have E equal E2 minus E1. Now place the value E2, 2 minus 9 by 8 times 10 to the power 9. So it can be simply written as 16 minus 9 by 8 times 10 to power 9. So it can be solved as, this will be 7 upon 8 into 10 to power 9 Newton Coulomb inverse. So I hope these are the basic questions based on the electric field. Now we will see some more examples, some more questions based on electric field. Let us start. You can see in the figure we have two charges each of 2 Coulomb, and we have to find the electric field at point P, which is on its bisector line and 12 meter apart from the point O. As we know that the electric field at any point is due to the individual charges. So if here we have two charges, it means at the point P there will be two electric fields. So first of all, as I have written here, this is supposed as first charge, this is supposed as second charge. So the electric field is given by E equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon x square. Now what is x? X is the distance from charge to point. So let us start. We put the value. So we will find E1. So E1 equal 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. In place of q we have 2, and the distance is 13 meter. So it will be 13 of square, like this way. As you can see that both charges are same and point P is at the same distance from the two charges. It means the electric field will be same. So we can directly write down that E1 equal to E2. Now because electric field is a vector quantity, so we have to find the direction. So direction of this charge, this positive charge, will be outward like this way. This is the direction of electric field due to charge 1. So E1 cap. Similarly, if we talk about the direction of charge 2, so its direction of electric field will be E2 cap. Now question is this: we don't know the angle between these two directions. So how we can apply the formula to find the resultant, that r square equal r square equal a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. In this situation we have to choose an alternative method. What is that alternative method? That is the resolution of vectors. Now we resolve the vectors. So let us suppose this is E1 vector and suppose this is E2 vector. Now we draw a parallel line with the baseline, and this is the perpendicular line as you see here. If we consider as theta angle, then it must be theta. So it have two component, E1 cos theta and it will be E1 sin theta. Now similarly, if we consider this also theta, then it will be also theta, and it have two component, E2 cos theta and E2 sin theta. Now you can see easily that these two vectors are opposite to each other. Because these two vectors are opposite to each other, it means they will be subtracted. Now if we talk about in x axis, so we can write in x axis we have Ex, and that is E1 cos theta minus E2 cos theta. Cos theta is same, and E1 and E2 both are same in magnitudes and they are subtracted. It means the answer will be 0. Now if we talk about in y axis, so Ey equal E1 sin theta plus E2 sin theta. Now E1 plus E2, why we add? Because both are in same direction. Now as we know that E1 and E2 both are same in magnitude, so we can take as a common and write as 2E sin theta by considering E1 equal E2 equal E. So we have 2E sin theta. Now place the value. So 2, the value of E, that is E1 or E2, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught 2 upon 30th of square sin theta. From the figure we can find the sin theta, and sin theta is what? Perpendicular upon hypotenuse, so it will be 12 upon 13. So we have 2, this is 9 into 10 to the power 9, this is 12 into 2, 24, and this can be written as 13th power 3. Now we can solve it and we get the answer as Ey. So Ey equal 0.197 into 10 to the power 9. Now if we have Ex and Ey, then we can find the final resultant by applying formula for resultant, that is r square equal a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So this is a, this is b, and theta, we know that angle between x axis and y axis is 90. So we have directly under root Ex square plus Ey square. Now Ex is what? Ex is 0, and Ey is what? Ey is 0.197 into 10.9. So when we put the value, then this will be 0 square, it means 0. Ey is square, so it will be come out, and we have E equal Ey, and Ey is what? That is 0.197 into 10 to the power 9. So it will be your final answer. So this is the basic technique to solve any numericals based on diagram, in which we have to find the electric field at any point. So basic concept, once again I am repeating, that whenever any diagram is given to you, then first of all find the electric field at the point due to individual charge. After that, second step, find the direction, and third step, apply the formula for resultant of vectors. Now we will see some other numericals based on electric